Welcome to the Deal Champs podcast. We have an absolute killer on today. Mr. Aaron Gaunt, Aaron is what he told me his name is.
That's right, Aaron.
Aaron. It's going to be an amazing guest today. He's going to hopefully tell us all of his secrets of building up a wholesaling company to that size, which is awesome. Paying sales reps $300,000 a year, I think is what you're saying. You're paying your reps now, or their ability to earn, which is dope. We'll do some quick intros. Real quick, my name's Stratton Brown. I scaled 2 different companies to 7 figures. We have a 7-figure real estate portfolio, and we help coach students in the Deal Champs community to learn how to grow their real estate investing business. We have the Captain America, Dean Rogers.
What's up, guys? Your other co-host here, Dean Rogers. Excited for today's podcast. Really excited to get into the details with Aaron. But my story, guys, started my career in the NFL, transitioned to corporate, then into real estate. Been investing in real estate for a decade now in Central California. We've done a 750 plus deals, have an 8-figure rental portfolio, and Deal Champs community is where it's all at, guys. If you guys are looking to scale, grow your business, whether you're new or an experienced investor, check us out at dealchamps.com.
And then Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm just honored to be in front of you guys, man. So again, a complete honor. I'm Aaron out here in Southern California, was in the Navy for 8 years, then in the fire department. And then I decided, hey, why not real estate? So that's what we're doing. We're doing a bunch of deals here in Southern California.
Love that, dude. I've seen a lot of like military, police department, firefighters gravitate towards real estate. What was it for you? What took you to real estate?
Man, it's a pretty deep why. Are you ready to get into it?
Yep.
All right. So this is what happened. I got out of the service, 8 years in the service, had a great time, came back. I got a job in San Antonio, Texas as a firefighter. I wanted to get back to San Diego, where I was first stationed. Beautiful, as you already know, La Jolla. I love San Diego. So I got a firefighter job gig after Texas in San Diego. And I was still pretty young, and so I was still kind of chasing tail at the time. Met a young lady, and unfortunately, very quickly, I got her knocked up. And
Dang,
so she
did it.
I did it. So
rookie move, dude.
It really was, right? We should really do what God plans, right? And that is marry your wife and then have a family. So unfortunately, I went the other way, and hey, it comes with some consequences. And so, in a good way, let's just put it that way. So she was going to have my daughter, and then immediately, unfortunately, this young lady who's now my daughter's mother, said that I wasn't going to be in her life. So unfortunately went down a bad path. She was going to try to give her for adoption. She fled the state in labor. She did. And the list goes on. And
that's a story.
It really is, right? And we could go down it's all documented. We could go down that road. But here's the thing. I knew that I was going to be a dad. I was like, hey, I did it. I'm going to be a dad. So immediately I was like, no, I'm going to be in her life. And I told this young lady I'm going to be in her life. But in the fire department, even in San Diego, I was probably making $72,000, $75,000 a year before overtime. So obviously, you do some overtime, you could get up into the six figures. And I needed a way to make more money. And I remember back in the Navy, I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, we were on deployment. A thing we do back in the Navy is that, books get passed around. So, hey, I read this good book. You should check it out. And you're reading it, before bed or whatever. And that book stood out to me. I never took action on it. I didn't have a deep enough why. So I'm sure a lot of your students or people that go through, might not have a deep enough why to take massive action. I didn't. I mean, that book was super enlightening, and I just put it off to the side. And so anyway, so when all this went down and I was starting to think, okay, how to make more money, why? It's the how are we going to get things done? I picked up that book again. I read it again while I was at the fire department, while I was on work. Read it, inspired me. I said, okay, real estate. But hey, I don't have any money. Where do I start? Mm-hmm. And actually, and funny, there's a little story in there that talks about wholesaling. But anyways, I go on Google. I type in how to get in real estate with no money. What popped up? Real estate wholesaling. Back in the day, it was 2020. I think like end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Tom Kroll, Cody Hoffine, Wholesale Inc. were big at that time. You know, they're at top of the game. I mean, they put out a podcast and they got like 100 leads per podcast. It was great. Anyways, I was one of those leads, right? So I at that time, I said I need to get in this wholesale. It sounds a little quirky. Sounds a little. Is this real? So I do my research. I go down YouTube University. I needed to see if this is real. I found out it was real. I called Wholesale Inc. I talked to the sales guy. Guess what he tells me? He said it's going to be $5,000, $5,000. I don't got any money. I don't have any money. I already gave it to my attorney who's fighting with me for my daughter to be in her life. $5,000. So I need to be putting all my money toward my attorney, but I knew if I go down this route, I could go ahead and, you know, put money and send money to my attorney. So what did I do? I had a little credit card at the time. And I'm sure you guys just tell your students all the time to do this, right? Put it on a credit card. Well, I did. And nobody told me to do it, but that's the only way I could afford it. So I knew if I bet it on myself, I could, you know, I'll repay this. So anyways, I'm dating a new lady at this time who now is my wife. And I go to her job. So it was one of my days off. Like, we work 2 days off, 3 days or whatever. And so I had a lot of time off. And I go to my girlfriend's job at the time. We're in Temecula now. And I say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. It's $5,000. And she, you know what she tells me? She goes, you should do it. I see the conviction. You should do it. And this woman is amazing. She pushes me. Like, I'm definitely the visionary, but she'll push me over the edge. And so I went over, I got the sales guy back on the phone. I gave him my credit card, and then I was in Wholesale Inc. So then I started my course, you know, and at that time they did a little drip thing, and they're like, hey, here's a video, do this. And then you couldn't watch the next video until you took massive action on that first step. And then the next video came out the next day. So, I mean, it was super painful. So 2 months later, I get my first wholesale deal. And it was probably the hardest wholesale deal till this day. It was like through a real estate agent. It was on a car form. It was tons of open houses. I was still building my list. And the long story short, I got my first deal and it was $20,000 in my bank account. $20,000. And what do you think I did? I took 10 grand of that. I gave it to my attorney to keep fighting to help me fight for my daughter. And then I took another 10 and I put it back into marketing. Long story short, and we could go on and have some great conversations. To this day, I have full physical and legal custody of my daughter. I'm a full-time dad. She's with me full-time. And I couldn't be more happier. Wholesaling has changed my life. It's given my daughter, it's given my kids, give me 2 additional kids with my new wife, my wife. And it's been a beautiful journey.
Let's go. Love to hear it.
All I had to say is, what made you think about real estate? And boom, he was ready for that. That's a story, man. That is a story. I love a good story. I got a solid story too of how and why, and, you know, all those things. I mean, how much motivation did that put into you to say, I got to do something different? Because I think that's what how a lot of us get here, is that big why, you know, that motivation that says, dude, I got to do something different. So, you know, what were you feeling during that time? Were you just like, you know, were you optimistic? Were you excited? Were you fearful? You know, what kind of emotions were you going through?
Yeah, I was going through all that, all the above. Cody Hoffine at the time, he used to always say to new students, people trying to get their first deal, he said, do everything like somebody stole your kid. And it's funny because that's the actual story that I was in. Somebody's taken my kid, and I got to do anything that it takes to get my deal, to get this deal, and to get the next deal, and then to build a business and so forth. So yeah, that was it. That was my why. You got to dig deep into, and it doesn't have to be obviously taking your child or anything like that, but dig deep. Think about your deep why. I mean, you hear it all the time through your motivational reels and YouTube and your coaches. That's where you got to do. You got to dig deep. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are we in real estate? Why are we business owners, because guess what? As business owners, and especially in real estate, we get kicked in the teeth every single day.
I feel like it sounds so basic, but it's the realest thing ever. Like to have clarity of what you want and why. And that will eliminate a lot of the bullshit because most people don't even know what they want, why they want it. And then they don't even like, they're like, well, why am I going to hop on these phones? And then they're okay with the way their life, the way their life is the way it is now. If
Right.
you're actively working towards something that you think is worthwhile, nothing's going to hold you back.
Yep. 1000%.
But
Well,
are
dude,
you
you
Cody's
get-
most successful student? You have to be.
No, I wish, but I'm not. No, I'm up there though.
I can't think of anybody who's more successful than you, bro.
I have to say, you got started during a wild time. Was it like officially you getting started in 2020? Is that when it happened?
Yeah.
Or was it
So
2019?
no, it was end of 2019 when I was starting to think about it, YouTube University, and then 2020 is like, when I took the leap, and then I got my first deal in the beginning of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it was just all in. It was just, I have, just like I think you guys, a very obsession behavior. When you're in something, I'm freaking all in. So it was just so that's something I grabbed onto, and I just went all in.
So, dude, in a short period of time. So, first off, shout out to you for having the awareness of like, hey, I should probably go learn from somebody who's done this that can, speed up my results, minimize my mistakes. That's what Strat and I preach, right? That's why we have Deal Champs community, because, we both had our journey, and at least for my journey, I got results on my own by just learning it my own, but I also made some really big mistakes that could have been easily avoided. So,
oh yeah.
So shout out for you for having that awareness. What did that journey look like for you? So if you just kind of like to go over the past 5 years and look at where we're at today now, you've had a heck of a journey to get to $7 million in revenue. That's no easy task, for any type of business. So how did you get to that point? What was the journey to get from my first deal of 20K to where we're at in 2025?
Books. I read a lot of books at the time. One of the books that I really started reading in the beginning of all this was the book The One Thing by Gary Keller. I think that's something I really preach a lot. A lot of us entrepreneurs get a lot of shiny object syndrome. I think I'm one of the special that just stuck to wholesaling. A lot of people like to use this. And I am so honored. I mean, the things that you guys have accomplished as well. I mean, I got so much to learn from you guys, and I can't wait to ask you guys some questions. But again, for me, it was just a lot of people look at wholesaling as the jumping board to get to flipping, the holding, and stuff like that. For me, it was just stick to one thing, do it really well. Because as we know, wholesale real estate it's simple, not easy, and there's so much nuances. Like for example, today I'm every single quarter I try to update my processes, and so I use a platform called Trainial, and I'm over here making new videos, updating scripts, updating the way we do things. We have a new CRM that we jumped over to. It's actually, Stratton, shout out to you about, I think, throwing it out there. RAA Simply, great platform.
Oh, yeah. Shanae better pay me for that one.
And so, yeah, I mean, and so that's a whole thing. So they're always updating. And again, wholesale real estate, I mean, it's a business. It's a business.
And when I say that, I love that.
And that if you look at it as business, you'll do fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's huge about wholesaling. When it comes to flipping and buying rentals, I mean, yes, there's businesses there, but wholesaling is very to its core business, where you have to be very focused on the marketing. You have to be very focused on the sales process. You have to be very focused on the transaction side and converting it into money in the bank. And so there's clear business silos that function and operate like pretty much every business out there.
Yeah. And you're go on.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say your guys' wholesale operations. I know, Dean, you said you're down here in Southern California, and yours is in the mid-central California.
Central California, yeah.
Are you doing everything like what does your business look like?
Yeah, so mine is completely virtual to me. And my team that I have is, for the most part, for the exception of two virtual assistants and one disposition specialist, they're all boots on the ground physically in my market. So to me, that was just kind of how I built it out of circumstances. Naturally, I'm inclined to want to be there, have my hands in it, touch and feel. But when I started this out of necessity, I had to do something different. I was working a corporate job up in the Bay Area. And so the Bay Area was big and scary to me. These big, scary, trashy looking houses that were selling for $3 million, teardowns practically. It just didn't make sense to me. So I went to what I knew, which is where I grew up in Central California. So that's my story on it. But how about you? Are you doing all of your stuff in Central California? If so, what parts?
No, actually, it's Southern California. So we do our main markets right here in Temecula, right here in Riverside. So we're dominant. Really? We're dominated. You should be seeing our billboards here, hopefully shortly. I know you see Sellers Advantage, our guy Damon and Doug's, but we want to knock them off their thing. Obviously, we got a long ways to go. They're amazing individuals, so that's gonna be a hard task. But it's a goal that I do have.
So Temecula, and then you said Riverside County. So does that include Riverside and some of the other little small towns in between here and there?
Yeah. So Inland Empire, which is Riverside County, San Bernardino County, and LA County. Those are our three. I mean, gosh, those are markets in itself.
That's a huge market, bro. LA County is enormous in and of
itself. Is LA County like segmented down to like East LA, or is it all of LA? Like it could be like, downtown LA. I know most people aren't doing deals there, but you get my point. Like, is it all of LA County? Because LA County is big.
Yeah, no, it really is, because you got to think about like where, so our main marketing channels right now are PPL, PPC, SEO, direct mail. Those are our main marketing channels technically right now. There's only a couple. There's only one out of those channels a direct. So, for example, we send direct mail here in Riverside County, but everything else is you just kind of open up to the county. We want just number amounts of leads. And the thing is, our ultimate goal is to open up a shop. We want to have HQ in Temecula. Then we want to have an office in like kind of northern LA, and then 2 up in the Bay Area. So when you said that all those houses, I mean, it's just a ginormous market. So that's the ultimate goal, is have about 4 shops going. We want to dominate the Bay Area after we figure out how to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because that's your home, right?
Yeah, that's my home. Yeah. What's that, Trent?
How does Doug have his structured? Is his like that in Arizona and in like LA? Is that what his looks like? Is just 2 different shops?
Yeah. So you got the Doug Hopkins buys houses. I don't know exactly, but it's Doug Hopkins. He's all in Arizona. Then you got Damon, who built Sellers Advantage. So he actually flew out here. Damon flew out here. I think it was in Irvine, set up shop here. They wanted to create a brand because they didn't want to just build it off of Doug's. They basically said, can we build a company that we could sell? And so that's kind of the direction that they got like a board of advisors, and he went all in. So they came out here, I think like 2012, 13. And then he literally moved from Arizona out here to start the company. So he went all in.
Split. So Doug and the other guy are not.
They are partners, but the companies are split. So they're partners. They take from both, right? So everything goes to them. I think they're CEO, CO. So they're partners. He just runs that operation. Damon runs this, and then they kind of compete. And then obviously they take from both companies.
Sounds like you're relatively familiar, or maybe even close to those guys. What's your relationship with them? You just know them? You guys meet? You get together? What's that look like? Some friendly competition?
No, so I'm part of the Collective Genius Mastermind, fantastic mastermind. I am just a huge fan. Obviously, they built something great in the wholesale space, so I'm always looking for some top dog people. So I know them well. Like I got their phone numbers. We text. Like we'll say, hey, we got a deal from you, and then they'll text back, well, I get the next 100, right?
You try to rub a little dirt in, and then they just drop a big pile on you.
Yeah, they're freaking animals. But they spend a lot of money on marketing, right? They spend, $1 million a month on marketing.
Yeah, I've heard.
Bro, do you invest at all outside of your company, or are you just locked in?
I'm locked in right now. But yeah, that's gonna be the ultimate goal.
What does that
When
What
do
does
you
that
think
mean
you
to
would
you,
start to
Strat?
invest? Like buying rentals, because like we bought storage, and we still have stuff that comes in, but that still for me was spinning up a whole nother company when we like decided to pursue like the commercial stuff,
Oh,
and it
nice.
took a lot of time and effort and energy. Now you got to go raise the capital. Now you still have to operate it. Now you still have to underwrite stuff differently. So like, do you do anything buy and hold, or is it just
Nah,
like,
not right
bro,
now,
we will
man.
do it?
Yep.
Go ahead.
To me, that's another business. So am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I don't know. I'm also not a big fan of, I've heard all the things about rentals. Um, I see it here. My ultimate goal is to probably buy a couple rentals here, maybe 10 rentals, and then just be done and then park some money. But right now that just hasn't been my thing. So
No stocks either.
yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I got my Vanguard account where I store a bunch of money away in the, S&P
Okay.
500. Yeah, so then I
You
just put a
never
bunch of
know.
money there. Yeah, you never know.
Some dudes just like to be cash heavy and just lock in on the company. I love it.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's the
guess
right thing to do.
It's just,
the
yeah,
right
I mean,
thing to do.
yeah, and I got a lot to learn I got still a lot to learn. That is something that we do want to move forward. I want to be like you guys where we do have a lot of properties that we're sitting on. So by the age 40, that's kind of what we want to do. We want to lock in a bunch of properties from now to 40. But right now, we just really want to dial in this business, put back into marketing, build the team up, figure out how to hire correctly. I mean, like you've been seeing my posts. I mean, just understanding how to recruit good individuals is super important, right? So, and I think we're just now nailing in our processes where I'm not tweaking things ginormously, which I love. So I'm able to sit here and teach on repeat with every single sales guy that we get.
Oh, okay, I got another one, Dean. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
What have you learned about recruiting? Because we followed each other for about a year now, and you were posting about it when we first started following each other. Now that is like the sole output that I feel like you were focused on is like, hey, we want more talent, and this is a great place to work.
Right. No, man, it is the number one thing that you should be looking for, and especially as you build a team. Because one thing I thought I needed were people. I thought I needed a bunch of heads. But let's go back to Damon and Seller's Advantage. Their team's not that big. They're super lean and mean, and they're doing 7 figures a month in wholesale assignment fees just in one market, right? And I think they run like 4 acquisition reps. Now they have a team of inside sales reps back in Phoenix setting up appointments for them, which is great. And they got a crap ton of marketing. So if you could get good talent, raise that marketing, you could obviously 2x, 3x at that scale. You're going to probably 2 to 3x it. So what I did, a lot of learning, a lot of kicking in the teeth, is I got a team of heads. I just got a bunch of acquisition guys. I shot up that marketing, and guess what happened? I almost went broke because these guys couldn't convert the dang leads.
Sure.
Yep.
So I knew, crap, I need to get good people, right? Now, there is a way of learning how to train them, right? Like all the things that we do here is all teachable. So what Cody did, he actually told me this earlier this year, and this is what it kind of took me a step back this year, is I was kind of telling him about some of my struggles with some of my team. And he goes, let me go see their PI test, right? So I tell him what their PI test, specialist, collaborator, right? I didn't think nothing of it at that time. He goes, none of those guys are going to work. They're not hungry. And so I let them all go. I fired everybody, unfortunately. And because I'm a big guy on, copying and pasting. So I let them all go. And then I went all in and said, so now what we do is when we interview people, we have everybody take the PI test. They need to fall under and again, this is just for sales reps. It doesn't mean they can't go do something else or whatever in our company, but it's either a captain, maverick, venture, or sometimes a persuader. And so you got to fall under that for us even to start the hiring process. I need to know that you're going to do whatever it takes to get the freaking deal. And so now we've been hiring, slow, and we get a lot of applications that come in daily. I had a great interview today. So we have 2 outside sales reps right now. We have 2 disposition reps. We have a TC, and we have an in-house, basically in-house sales agent that tees up the appointments. The Q3, I'm looking for 2 more guys that fall under the Captain Maverick.
How many? I have so many questions. How many appointments do your reps run a day?
So they should be doing 2 a day. So that's the goal. We did just hire a in-house sales rep, so they're going to help out with that. And I've tried them all. I've done the virtual lead manager stuff. I've done the in-house sales reps, which the pay structure was bad. I just revamped the pay structure, and so I did up the pay, because here in Southern California, you got to pay them a little bit more, and that has been fantastic. We hired a freaking killer that is teeing up appointments for my closers now, so they're not sitting here, because that was another thing. They're closing. They're meant to close deals, and they need to be in front of homeowners. They're not always going to be the best people to sit there and make a bunch of calls. But your inside sales agents are. They're the ones who are going to keep this outside guys accountable, and that's been fantastic. So to answer your question, it's supposed to be 2 a day, 10 a week, 30, and 40 a month. So that is the ultimate goal. But sometimes sellers cancel or they didn't have any for that day.
What's their schedule like? Like your rep comes in, I'm guessing they come in, you have your follow-up calls at 7:30 a.m.
So we do 7. So everybody comes in at 7:30. That's training time. We call it the boiler room. So 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's just a half an hour where we do quick role play exercises. We go over the process. We might watch a video, but that's just enough time to get in, a real good gold nugget. 8 o'clock is when everybody else comes in the office. We do a huddle every single morning. After that, they either go to their appointments. They should be obviously looking at their appointments. They should be going ahead and doing their pre-research. So like comparables, ARVs, what they want to anchor at, what are some pre-talking points, et cetera. Then they go ahead out to their appointments. Or if they don't have any appointments, they're going to go ahead and hit the new leads uncontacted, do follow-up, try to book an appointment, or get a contract. Everybody's goal at the end of the day is a contract. That is a goal for the day, is just one contract.
What are you guys doing on appointments? Is that like you have to have an appointment before you make an offer? Is that what you guys are doing right now?
No, I mean, well, we can lock up over the phone. That is okay. It really comes down to the seller. If it's, hey, first person to give me $300,000, I'm going to go, and you're like, hey, that's a freaking deal. Like, go ahead and lock the deal up. Or you could talk to a seller. Actually, I talked to a seller the other day. Super, real motivated, fixer up a property, but didn't want to do anything that day. Didn't want to set an appointment until a week out. So those are the people like, perfect. Let's follow up. Let's book an appointment to get out there. So if somebody's hot and ready on the phone, like, yeah, lock it up. Just get it over with. But if somebody says, but if there's going to be some deal killers that you got to go ahead and go over, such as, your risk and discomforts, your relationships, I got to meet you. I got to, I'm a little, here in California, there's a lot of fraud, right? So a lot of people a little bit wavery. There's some pretty savvy people out here. And again, what's going to happen is when you give that anchor price, what happens on the phone when you give an anchor a lot of times? Click. Right. But when you're at a house and you built the trust, the likability, the rapport, you're in front of that homeowner. Right. And guess what? They're not going to kick you out. Most of the time. I mean, I did have a guy back last year who couldn't build the rapport, and he got kicked out of freaking houses all the time. We ran he was over the phone a lot. And then what happened is that we really went appointment heavy afterward. And so we put him, he was really good. He crushed it. Excuse me, I have a phone call coming. He crushed it in the year. He made like $200,000 himself in the first 6 months. He made me a crap ton of money, I think like 1.5. And this is all over the phone. And then when we were like, hey, we need to go appointment heavy, we put him in front of homeowners' houses, and he was just very stiff. And again, he didn't fall under the PI test that we talked about. He was very good at following a script process, but he couldn't go ahead and build this trust, this likability in front of the homeowners. He got kicked out all the time every time he gave an offer. And so we had to let him go, unfortunately. But great guy.
What's your close rate that you're going for when you send these guys out on an appointment? Like, all right, your close rate needs to be X, and that's how we know you're performing.
Yeah, one in every 5 appointments. So we want everybody to get 2 contracts a week, 8 contracts a month. Obviously, if you could do more, that's the goal. But we want sellable contracts, right? We get a lot of seller. I mean, a lot of closers that obviously lock up stuff too high. We got title issues, et cetera. But But 1 in every 5 appointments is always going to be your goal.
What's
your
the
cost per
size of
lead?
your team right now?
Not too big right now. It is going to get bigger, but it's like I said, it's 2 acquisition reps right now. I got another guy coming in for an interview tomorrow. I think I'm going to hire him. He's pretty solid. But at 2 right now, so 2 acquisitions, 2 dispositions, 1 inside sales rep, and then a transaction coordinator. And she's a freaking phenomenal. You need if a good hire, you need a transaction coordinator.
What is your cost per lead down there, and cost per contract?
A lot. It could be depending on it could be from 200 all the way up to 600 per lead. PPC could be pretty expensive depending on what your range that you're trying to hit. Per contract could be between $8,000, $6 to $8,000 per contract.
But you make huge rips, bro. Like some of the stuff that I've seen, at least that you've posted, you make some rips on some stuff. Yeah.
So our average, unfortunately, I hate to say it, it has gone down, but our average was 42,000. So our average right now, I think, is like 37.
Yeah, that's still super strong.
Yeah, but just like any other wholesale business, you got your ups and down months, right? But we're trying to fix that. Again, it's really comes down to it's not a lead issue. It's a freaking conversion issue. So that's why when we go back to the beginning of our conversation, it all comes back to hiring good people. Because I can get you the leads all day. Can you freaking convert?
Exactly.
What's so average is about 37 right now. What's the average deals per month? So give or take now.
Yeah, this month, it should have been more. This month it was 7. We closed on 7 deals. We should be closing on 2 at the end of this week. But we're obviously trying to get up there. So it's usually floats. I mean, a good month, we're doing probably about 16, 15. That's a good month, obviously, with our average. And then on a bad month, it was pretty much a bad month this month.
This month was really slow for us too.
Yeah.
I have to check on how many we closed.
Yeah, because you get contracts all day, right? I mean, guys, don't let social media fool you, right? Contracts are easy. It's the closings that are great.
Deals closed, we have 11 so far, and we should have
nice
potentially 1 or 2 more close this month. We should have at least 1 more close, but only right now, today, 6 new contracts. Now, we should get another 1 signed, maybe 2 signed today. But
there you go.
We're very, very low on the new signed contracts, lower than we have been any other month this year. But there have been ups and downs this year. It's been a slower year for sure. We were double that on average all of last year. So yeah, we're seeing that too. So, okay. So 15 closed deals we're typically doing, except for this year, we're having a lot. Last year, we were heavy on the contracts and lower on the deals closed, which is more or less pretty standard or natural.
It's wholesaling.
That's wholesaling. And a lot of those were just like probates and title that had to get cleared and a lot of stuff. And some of those ended up falling off. Many of them are still kind of slowly but surely pushing through. We got some really nice ones coming. Do you see that a lot yourself? A lot of deals getting hung up with title issues and probates and all this kind of fun stuff.
1,000%. That's why a TC, so my wife handles that side. So we have our lanes. A lot of people ask us, how do you work with your wife, right? We have our lanes. So my lane is dealing with the sales reps, marketing, et cetera. Hers is basically, we get the contract, she takes over from there. So if I bring a seller and a buyer to them, they take it over. So every time they bring me something, like, you guys, that's your lane, keep it, get it to close, right? So we don't really start marketing our stuff until we get prelim, until we get a clean title, and then we start marketing for the most part. But yeah, we get.
You wait till you get a title report and make sure it's clean first before you market it out, huh?
Correct. Yeah, because then you sell the deal, you get everybody's high-fiving each other, and then, hey guys, they're underwater. Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah, you get some bullshit that comes in and everybody gets deflated. It ruins morale.
Yeah. So, and we get squatter situation. I think it was Thursday last week. Yeah, it was Thursday. I had my entire team at 3 different properties for squatters, right? There's squatters in all these properties that we have. And we're like we're running around trying to get cash for keys agreements and da-da-da-da. So to have a good fulfillment department is ginormous. And that's why I personally like the in-person being able to go to the house is fantastic because we could do way more deals and solve way more problems. And again, to solve bigger problems, you're going to get bigger fees when you're able to go ahead and go to the house.
So you talked about the average. What are some of these big rips? So we just closed our biggest deal, which was $181,000. We closed it this month. Now the fun story to tell, which I'm doing a webinar on it tomorrow, is that I got the deal under contract while on vacation. So I went to Hawaii for 30 days with my family.
I saw that.
While on
awesome.
vacation, and then we closed it literally the day that we flew back. It was supposed to close a week earlier, supposed to close quick, but there was some bumps in the road.
Never closed on time. Never closed on time.
And but we just closed that. So what are some of your big rips? Because Strat got me super pumped up telling me about some of your big rips. I want to hear it from your mouth.
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had too big of rips. I mean, a lot of it was last year. Like I said, this year has been all team, and I'm not even going to blame it on the market. It's been me restructuring my team of why the year hasn't been exactly how I want it to be. Last year was fantastic, but here's the funny thing: we did great on a mediocre team, and that's just kind of what I've been doing. I've been trying to build a just super high performing team. But yeah, we would do probably like 1 to 2 6-figure deal here in Southern California. I mean, I could just tell you just random numbers, like 130, 150, 175. We've done in February this year, we did a $250,000 deal. We had one in San Bernardino where we did $300,000 deal. So there are some big rips, but that's California, baby. If again, solve big problems, get big rips.
And the bigger numbers just allows for it. If it's $800,000 ARV and you get it for 400 or for 300, because it's got a bunch of problems you got to solve. There's the potential for that bigger upside. So,
well, and I have one of my story. We did an $800,000 deal, which was fantastic, but it had a lien on our property. We had another wholesaler that had a lien on the property. And it was about $300,000. So we paid him off. So we were able to take home $500,000 on that one.
Wow.
That was our biggest.
That's crazy.
Memorandum that is. What a fucking memorandum.
Dude, what a lien to get paid out $300K, dude. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine?
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's a wild one.
Anthony runs a really, really good organization out of Orlando. Him and his brother Alex are crazy good wholesalers. Multiple 7 figures.
Oh, nice.
What does your profitability look like at 7 million? Like percentage wise? Like, are you like, I know some people, they're like, hey, I just want to stick at 35. It sounds like you're in heavy growth mode. And so it may be dipping lower because you're like, hey bro, I'm going to the moon.
1,000%. Yeah. That's where you want to be at for a wholesale business. At least that's what I've been told. I was going to say something that I probably shouldn't say for the IRS. Right. But yeah, I mean, probably like 25% is our kind of revenue, our profit wise. But again, where do you think a lot of that money is really going, right? It's not only going into, we do a lot of stuff that helps out the team. Like last year when we hit we hit a goal last year and our Q2 goal, and we took everybody to Disneyland, them and their families, VIP trip.
Let's go.
That's cool.
Yeah, we do team dinners every single month. So at the end of the month, we take everybody for that. We were supposed to for this month if we hit our goal. So we'll throw some on the board. So I read a good book. It's called The Sales Accelerator Formula. So a lot of times you want to create those incentives. So if we hit our goal this month, we were going to take everybody to the wine country where they could go on the like a limousine, and they would go wine tasting. And we didn't hit our goal, so we're not going to do that. So we'll push that for next month. So we'll see what happens. But again, we do stuff like that. So.
Are all of your guys local to Temecula? They all live in Temecula. They all come to the office?
No, not all of them. Sometimes they'll be in Paris. We got a guy in Fallbrook and so forth.
Got it. All nearby.
Yeah, I mean, close. We want them close. I don't want them like. I passed up on 2 individuals who interviewed for us that I did in-person interviews, but they were all the way in Corona, and it's just for me. It's just like you're going to come to the office, train, be in the office, and you're going to go ahead and drive out to LA, and then you're going to come back to the office, and then back to Corona. And I'm just like, I need people close. So
what have you learned about leadership from the military? I found that most people who are the best leaders and business people are former athletes and military, because they're used to organizations and teams.
I love that. I love that. I personally can't say I took any of that leadership. I think what I learned from the military wasn't necessarily leadership skills, maybe because I wasn't an officer or anything like that. I wasn't enlisted. What I got from the military was punctual, right? Squared away, making sure I'm looking correct, clean shaved every single day, just showing up to, work hard. And I think organization, that's kind of what I really took from the military. What happened though, is when I took my leadership, quote unquote, leadership skills to the office space, it didn't really plan well for me. So, it's funny when you hire individuals. I have a saying that I have a saying is, you could tell that this individual was not in the military because, when I got into the office space and when I got into the private sector and I'm hiring in these individuals and I just felt like people just didn't know how to come to work on time or ready to go or with the work ethic. And so it took me a long time to really go ahead and learn good leadership skills. And what I mean by that is giving good feedback, right? What does feedback look like?
Not attacking them. Is that
not
what you mean?
Like 1,000%,
giving them
right?
feedback and not like actually coming after them, because that is something a lot of people struggle with.
1,000%. And so when I first started my career, I had a lot to learn. So I went on this leadership journey, probably the past 2.5 years, and I've come light years ahead on how I'm able to build up my team through a lot of the books I've read, learning, obviously just practicing the things I've learned. And now I'm very confident in, telling people and raising up leaders, because that's not my job, is to raise up leaders within the organization. I want everybody who comes into our organization to lead better. So if they leave on their own or we have to let them go, whatever, they're still going to lead this company a better human being. So yeah, my leadership skills have come a long way, not from the military though.
I always say, if you work for us, odds are if someone sees that you worked for us, they know the amount of skills that you got from us, and you're going to get another job in a heartbeat. Like, that's how good we want to develop you and like turn you into a better overall person. And if they know, typically, if they know that you're pouring into them like that, you're going to get a lot more out of them as a person rather than them just feeling like a cog in a wheel.
Yeah, I freaking love that.
How long does it take you to get a rep up to speed? And then I want to talk to you about like how you manage reps when they're in a rut and everything else, because we are a sales business.
Yep.
So how long are you taking to get that rep like really repped up, ready to go? What does that training process look like?
90 days. So I'm big on that 90-day period. So I went down a rabbit hole where I built my processes and I thought, hey, let me put this rep in front of this screen and watch a crap ton of videos. Watch these videos, get to know the system or learn the process and go, right? Well, that doesn't necessarily work for sales reps or closers. If they're a good closer, they want to get out, they want to go hunt, right? They're hunters. You're looking for a hunter. And obviously that's where I went wrong the first time. I didn't have hunters. I'm looking for a hunter. I'm looking for people that just want to get out. They know they're the crap. I want them to know that they're the crap and they're going to go out and freaking crush it. But they still got to understand our process. So I read a good book. It was by Brian Tracy, How to Hire and Keep the Best People. And what happened in that book, they talk a lot about getting new people out working as fast as humanly possible. That's the most motivated they're going to have. And also, Cody Halfline gave me some great advice as well. He said, "What did you do when you got your first deal?" I said, "I went on a bunch of appointments and failed forward. Fell on my face." He said, "What? That's what you need to do with your sales reps." So what we do is we have a training structure. So they do go through Trainial, where they have all, because they got to know the process. They got to know what we do, who our sellers are, right? And then they're going to they got to read 2 books in that 90-day period. They're going to go through REA Sales Academy. But that's pretty much it for the most part. Those are the most videos they're going to watch. But then I have, hey, by this week, I'm not going to baby you, but this week I need you to complete this. So you're going to do your thing. So day 1, I have them on the phones. How crazy is that? Well, my last hire, he got a contract on his first day, right? Because I'm hiring salespeople. I'm not hiring new people. My leads are too expensive for you to try out your sales skills on the first day. But we find that out on the interview day. I do skills tests and stuff like that. Like, active listening skills, role play. What would your plan be for a successful day? Okay, here's a CRM. Dial these leads. See if you could create an opportunity. So we create like this whole skills opportunity. See how are they ready to just jump in. So anyway, so yeah, you got a contract day going.
No, you keep going. Remember, I'm just telling Strat I got next.
You keep going. Yeah, he's excited. Keep going, bro. You're on a roll.
And but anyways, yeah. So long story short, I get them out there. I want them to fall on their face. I'm going to give them the grace they need to fall on their face as fast as humanly possible, but they better not do it again, right? Hey, I say, so they'll fall on their face. I'm saying, how was that? Tell me more about that. What would you do differently? I don't even say better. What would you do differently? What would you do to get that deal next time? Did we follow the process here? You remember in the sales process that we have here? Make sure you get that commitment next time. Did you check that? Oh, you got a deal killer. What was the deal killer on that? And I ask them questions so that they're thinking. You know, I always tell them too, stick to the process, right? You're going to have your own agenda. I mean, not your agenda. You're going to have your own flair to who you are. And you're just pushing it on and you're just molding yourself to that sales process, because I guarantee if you follow this ABCs, you will crush it. Master the basics. You will crush it. Everybody's going to have their own superpower. This is why I don't do ride-alongs, because guess what? If my new guy followed the old guy on a ride-along, what's going to happen? That older guy is going to do his own thing. The new guy's going to be like, oh, well, do I need to do that? No, that's just a superpower. And we're going to talk. And I was like, you got to figure out your superpower.
So you just throw that dude out to an appointment?
Yeah, when he's ready. Yeah. Nope. I mean, like, yes, I'll get him on
after he's taking seller calls, though. And then you're like,
yeah. So day one,
to an appointment.
There's a pipeline, right? So everybody's pipe, they're going to have a number of leads, and they're not going to. We don't just give them leads. They got to go ahead and they got to go through the new leads. They got to go through the old leads, et cetera. And then they start building their pipe. Or when a new lead comes in, boom, right? And we're training them we're constantly pouring into them through every day. We're doing training. We're constantly giving feedback, right? I don't say criticism. We're constantly giving feedback so that they could get better as they go. Yes. Are we going to lose opportunities? 1,000%. But guess what? The moment he gets up, moment he learns as fast as possible, or the moment he fails as fast as possible, I want him to fail, just like we do, right? Just like we do as entrepreneurs. That's how we get to be successful sooner.
Dino, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I was going to ask where you're finding your talent. So you got a handful of people on your team. You're lean and mean. Sounds like you're talking to people somewhat regularly, though, and seeing how to grow the team or improve the team. Where are you finding people? What are they typically like? What's their backgrounds typically? I know it depends on the role, but walk us through that.
Yeah. So job platforms. Unfortunately, I wish I had more of the time to recruit, but here's the thing. So we use Indeed and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is fantastic. So what we do is we reach out to a lot of people through LinkedIn, but something that Indeed has done recently to their channel, and it's been fantastic. So if you go to Premium, so you'll put a job post out there. You put it as premium. So you're spending like $76 a day to get applications. You're running your ads. Hey, I'm hiring.
Right.
They give you 30 invites a day. So I have my VA, my admin. Well, I got 2 VAs that are doing the recruiting for me. They'll send out these 30 invites, and I'll have 2 ads running. So technically, they're sending out 60 invites. So all the people that we have hired have came out from those invites. So we're reaching out to them to ask to be a part of our team. And obviously, those are going to be your best, because if somebody's targeting, 60 invites a day, not everybody. They're just to be honest.
Are you sifting it by like a sales background,
like an industry or anything like that?
Not right now. Just because they're sending out so many dang invites a day, it's kind of, we're blanketing the invites. So we want to get it. It's like just like marketing. We're trying to get it in front of our job post, in front of many eyes as possible. Because that's what happened. My VA goes and says, hey, I ran out of X amount of people that have a sales background. What do I do next? I'm going to just keep sending them to everybody. So, I mean, you're sending 60 invites. I mean, there's only so many people out there that are on Indeed. And so what happens is we're trying to find the person that lines up, that they would like to work for us. They like the job post. And then 2, they got to fall under that PI test. So it's like, because we'll get a crap ton of applicants, but then it's real narrow. 1, for them to even fill out the PI test. And then 2, for them to fall under that category. So again, I don't even start the process unless they fall under that. And then they do a pre-screen that pre-screen, my VA will ask them 3 questions, Zoom link. And then at the end of the day, I get to go ahead and look on a, what is it called? Spreadsheet. And I'll have like the Zoom link there. And I'll see, and I get to look, hey, who interviewed today? And what am I looking for? I'm looking for punctuality. Did they show up on time? I'm looking for squared away. Did they show up, properly dressed? Or did they look like a bag of ass and, everything's just all over the place? Because you'll be surprised of all the people who interviews. Are they articulate? Can they actually answer the question? How do they answer the question? Were they polite to my VA, right? So there's a lot of things. And then once I say, this seems like a squared away individual, I'll go ahead and interview myself. And then we do a second interview. I just do some more qualifying. We do it in person. Go on, brother.
I was just going to ask you to go very granular and tell me about your interview process. Tell me everything.
Yeah. So so again, pre-screen, second interview, which my VA will book it all. She'll reach out to the candidate. We do a second interview. I ask them some like hunger questions, like my hunger question, like how much you want to make, right? I want them to say, the moon is the limit, right? I want $250,000. And then I'll ask them, have you ever made $250,000, right? So then we'll kind of qualify that, and I'll tell them a little about the job, who we are, what we do. And then we'll go ahead, and if I like them, and a lot of times they don't pass that, but if I like them, we'll go ahead and do an in-person interview, and that's where we do our skills test. So they'll come in, they'll watch the morning huddle, and then we do about 5 to 8 skills tests, and it's just fun stuff, kind of like what I spoke about earlier: active listening, role play. Hit them up. They'll actually start calling some old leads, see if they're not afraid to triple dial. Right? I don't know how many times I've hired somebody and they came into my office and I hired them already and they did not want to triple dial somebody. And I was like, you got to be kidding, get in my office. Right. But I couldn't do that at the time. So obviously I had to work with them. But what I did is, because what's the biggest thing when it comes to leads? You do everything possible to get that individual on the phone. I need somebody who's hungry. Because again, 3 times, right? First time, what happens? They don't know you. Second time, who is this? Third time, okay, damn, it's an emergency and they answer. But yeah, so I want to make sure I get all that crap out of the way in the interview. After that, we do a background check. I want to make sure that there's no things in the background that, because we're looking for character. It goes character and then skills, right? And then after that, once we pass the background check, I don't really think we do much else. I think we pretty much hit it. We might call a reference or 2, but that's about it.
Those skills tests, out of 8, are you like looking at it like, okay, this person passed 5 of them? I feel like they'd have to pass all of them.
Right. I just want to see if they're willing to do it, to be honest. Like at first when I created it, it was, you need to be like the best of the best, right? To be honest, what I found out is, again, our job is learnable. Again, I'm looking for somebody who's smart, coachable, and hungry. Those are the 3 things. So can you hold a conversation? When we do role play, do you just shut down? Or can you actually sit there and actually have a full conversation? Does it really matter? Because when in a role play exercise, and we do 3 things in the role play. We'll do a quick role play exercise. I just want you to do discovery. Don't talk numbers. 5 minutes. I put a little clock. I put a timer on 5 minutes. Can you actually hold a conversation for 5 minutes? After that, I am going to do a second. I'm going to run it again because I'll get feedback. I want to see if they're going to take that feedback and use it in their second role play. So we'll run it again. That shows me, are you coachable? After that, then I want to see how you negotiate. What's your negotiation skills? So then I say, all right, we'll cut it. Let's go to the price. You need to get them at this price. I want to see how are they able to handle objections? Smart. How good are you on your feet?
I love that. What's your best interview questions to ask?
My favorite, like I said, one of them I said earlier was the money question. How much do you want to make? That shows me your hunger. I like the character question. Cody actually showed me this one. I thought was pretty good. Is, who are the 3 people that you look up to and why? So that's going to show me who do they want to become, or like what kind of traits do they have or want to have.
2 or 3. I like that one.
I heard that one from Tiff and Josh. I think it's really good.
Nice.
Luke says, do you give a salary for the first 90 days?
All right. So what we do, when I tell you how much we pay them, you're probably going to be like, that's a little too much for me. But I didn't pay them this much at first. But what we do is we pay a $6,000 base, and then we do a commission. So the base is a draw. in that draw. So they're always going to get $6,000, and it's not the 90 days; it's forever. They're always going to get $6,000, but they shouldn't be hitting $6,000. They should always be making more than $6,000. That $6,000 is just for them to feel comfortable in that first 90 days. I call that the training pay. But if you have a bad month, don't sweat it, because every sales rep has bad months. They have good months, but at least they need to be averaging above that at all times.
If someone has 2 no draws, they're fired, right? Like someone just get out of their draw
Pretty
twice.
much. Yeah. Pretty much, man. There's definitely gonna be a lot of conversations. Yes.
Because I feel like you have the best draw in the industry, bro. That's a hefty draw, like a 60K
really strong
base. I feel like. Do you feel like they're still hungry?
Yeah.
60K base. I'm just like, man, that's a lot of base to give someone like 60 grand minimum.
Well, that's so that's 70.
Upside is 350.
Yeah, so that's $72,000 a year. They should be wanting to make way more than that. If they're not, because here's the thing. Here's another thing I read from a book. Why I asked how much do you want to make? That shows me where your thermostat is. My follow-up question is, have you ever made that? And so a great book you guys got to check out. It's called Psychology of Selling. Great freaking book. And in that book, it talks about the sales rep who went to a company and they made $150,000 for the year. What's going to happen? Let's say that company goes under. That sales rep has to go get another job. Do you think when they get to that other job, how much do you think they're only going to make 90 grand?
No,
they're going to make 150. They're going to make $150,000 because they've already made it, and they know that's what they can make. So they're going to make that 150 no matter what. Now it's how much more are you going to make? They're going to make 160, 180. So once they are able to push that level, it's all mindset. So if they could go ahead and push to 200,000, I always look for people that has made $150,000 to $200,000 a year, because that shows me, I want that person, because they're going to make that again at my company immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Without a question, they're going to make that. So,
and they have bills that equate to $200,000 a year.
That's true. What are the commission structure? What's the percentage on that?
Yeah, great question. So we actually just changed it because we want to focus on deal spread, and kind of like we talked about, the reason we saw our average go down. And so we wanted to kind of fix that. We were hoping that this would help, and it's only been about a month. So, because we want our at HBS, as we call it, home buyer specialists, to go as low as possible, and our dispositions to sell as high as possible. So from 0 to 10, it's 7%. From 10 to 20, I believe it's 8%. From 30 to 40, sorry, I probably went up. But anyways, it goes 7, 8, 8.5, all the way up to 40. So you get anything above 40,000 an assignment fee, it's 10% on. So if you get 60, 70, 100 grand, it's just 10%. But I want an average of a 40. So everybody's going to try to shoot to get past that 40,000.
Got it.
What are your core values?
Growth-minded, competitive greatness, extreme ownership. Great question too. And then we're going to add another one. I think it's going to be heart for others, because I had all these like go, 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 rah, rah, rah kind of core values. But I was like, we need like a little bit more of a humble one. And I think heart for others.
Rein it back.
Yeah. So I think we need a heart for others, right? Like, hey, let's, and we already do. We're very, it's in our name, Seller's New Day, right? It's the sellers is our person that we're serving. And then the new day is hey, you're from what situation you are, your old days, your old bad, painful days. And we're trying to remove that thorn, which is the house, into your new day, picture perfect scenario. What are your core values?
Carry 360, strive for excellence. I really only like 2 of them. I don't want to
like that.
Too many, because I can't remember them all. I'm done.
Well, that's why you got to
try like 6.
That's why you got to have only a minimal. Like there's a great book called Teamwork by Natalie Dawson, and she talks about that. Keep your core values super. Like you should only have like 3 to 5, and then your mission statement should be like 2 sentences, a sentence to 2 sentences. So like we have our mission statement, and it's super short, and everybody better memorize it in their first 90 days.
Bro, I love it. All right, who is REI Sales Academy? Is that Jerry Green?
Yeah, I think he bought it. Yeah, but it used to be
John.
Yep.
It used to be John.
How
often are you putting your reps through that? Do you have a sales manager, or is the sales manager you?
I wish I had a sales manager. That's me right now.
I was going to ask this question. This just came from Luke right here. So this has a little bit more than what I was going to ask, but how many leads per rep per week? And do you have a lead manager or junior sales rep kind of person? I was going to ask you, what if you've got, sales guys you're throwing in, expecting to get deals their first week, what does your lead flow look like?
Yeah, great question. It really comes down to what's going on monthly. So yes, we do
go
have
up and down, right?
Yeah, Luke, we do have an in-house real estate. We do have a inside sales rep that's right outside my office. But leads, I mean, we probably get 10 to 20 leads a day.
Wow.
For the most part, but we had to dial that down because we just, like I said, we just hired our inside sales agent. And so we need to, so they were dropping the ball, unfortunately.
Do you feel like those 10 to 20 is due to the fact that you're in LA County, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, really pretty dense, large markets?
1,000%
is what allows. Okay.
Yeah. And then,
I think about that for myself sometimes, because geographically, Central California, where I do my business, geographically, it's very large, but like population sizes of all of those cities is generally pretty low. So
right.
I'm doing marketing in a large geographic area, but the lead flow, I would like it to be greater, right? So do I need to actually go out of the market? Do I need to add in other lead channels that are lower quality, but we just got to work them a little harder? It's kind of hard to know sometimes.
Yeah, those are gross leads too, right? Those we get a lot of leads. I'm not selling spam, right? So think about it like that, and that's probably half. So think about it like that
for sure. Yeah.
So your reps will work essentially 10 each a day at max?
No,
like that's
not a day. Not a day. Like I said, and also the way we do our lead flow is it goes into a bucket. So when a new lead comes in, it goes to everybody. So it goes to our closers first. So they have to. I want them to call in 60 seconds. It doesn't happen, not all the time, especially if they're on an appointment, on the road, whatever. But it should go to our closers first, and then once they've made contact, they'll go ahead into another bucket where the closers can still call. But then our in-house sales agent will start calling those leads to get them on the phone, to qualify them, to make them net leads.
With let's say it's Saturday afternoon, who takes those leads? Is it your reps?
Great question. Yeah, it's up to them if they want to get them on the phone. I actually try to turn that shit down during those times. But perfect world, the closers are going to be so hungry I've been at a time where we had closers that come on the weekend, and I always actually have to tell them, you can take the weekend to rest. I love when I see them on the weekend and they want to come into the office. I don't want to stop them, but guys, when I think about this like a business, guess what else you got to think about? HR. Nobody talks about that, but HR is huge. Okay, guys.
Did you get dinged or anything with someone coming in on Saturdays?
No, not specifically that, but I'm just saying, comments will be made. I've been working so hard. I came in on Saturday, da 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 da. And you're like, I didn't tell you to come in on Saturday.
Yeah.
I want you to focus Monday through Friday, get a bunch of contracts, hit your goals, so you don't have to come in on Saturday. So,
do you give them benefits?
Unfortunately, not right. Not right now. We are looking at. We have it on standby. We're going to be giving medical and dental here probably by end of year.
So you don't want them to work. I feel like that's the hardest part, because I feel like someone has to take those leads on Saturdays, and then you'll get a cheaper CPL statistically on the weekends too. Just on those 2 days, like we get tons of leads on Sundays.
Oh yeah,
to where we get excess from a bunch of PPL companies, bro, and our phones just
nice
on Sundays.
I love that. Yeah, like I said, it comes, if they want to work, but I'm not going to make them work. I want them to go relax, go spend time with family, friends, because there have been too many times where, I'm just burnt out or whatever. And you're like, bro, you should have been relaxing. Go take the day off, man.
I'm trying to see if I have any other questions. Your cost per contract. How long does it take a rep? What's your typical sales rep life cycle like? Like, do you know like a turnover? Like typically we're going to turn over someone from 9 months to a year.
Yeah. So your HBSs are the turnover. My dispositions, I got 2 disposition reps who both been over here over 2 years. My transaction coordinator, 2 years. unfortunately, the HBSs are the ones that turn over the most. So we're working on that. We're working on our longest ones have been here usually about 1.5 years to almost 2 years, and then unfortunately we have to let them go. So we're working on our retention now.
I feel like if you have benefits, you're paying them $72,000 a year.
Well, we just
and you're a
upped all
sales
that.
rep.
Yeah.
It should be crazy high retention after that. I don't know anybody paying that much.
Well, again, it's not,
That is
to be
crazy
honest,
high.
it's not necessarily them leaving. Unfortunately, it's me sometimes saying, "Hey, you're not meeting a quota," or "Hey, you did this." We've done, again, when you run an office, you get in, you get harassment stuff. You'll hire a rep that maybe is not, the character is not all there, and you just gotta let them go. Actually, to let you guys know, we're talking about a lot of cool things right now and a lot of the journey, but a lot of the hard stuff, I love talking about too. I actually let go of one of our people today, to be honest with you. We found out some stuff that he shouldn't be doing, and he didn't last. If they can last that first 90 days, they're going to be here for a good long time. But this guy was in his 90-day period, and he was the closer. He crushed it. He was one of those guys that could really crush it and get a lot of contracts, make a lot of money. But he was a cancer to your culture. And so literally everybody in my office have written statements right now today. So again, I deal with it every day, have hard conversations every day. And that's just what it means to be a leader, to run a good organization. So I let him go. Everybody's writing statements, and hopefully we could hire better next time.
How did you get better at handling those hard conversations? I remember when I had to fire my first person when I was working for Alan way back in like 2019, and that shit took everything out of me for like 2 days. I felt like the biggest asshole. Like,
right?
It was terrible. It was really, really hard. Now, like, I'm a lot more used to like letting go of someone. But if someone's been with you for 2 years, bro, that's still friends. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you're with that person.
That's hard.
As much as your wife.
It's way harder when they've been with you for a long time. 100%.
How have you gotten used to that? And then how do you typically handle those? I love to hear how people handle firing people. I've heard a lot of times it's just like, hey, sorry, we're just going to have to go in a different direction, especially in California for HR reasons. You're just like, that's all it is. And I got to dip.
Right. That's a great question. Well, first off, I saw a pretty cool reel yesterday, and I shared it with a bunch of friends of mine, and it talks about leadership. And when you first became a leader, you kind of have empathy for people, right? And it could kind of hurt you. But as you grow as a leader and you have more hard conversations and you fail forward and you learn to be, for better lack of words, a better leader, you start to just have more compassion, right? So you remove yourself from empathy, you start to have compassion. So when you do fire somebody, we do have to follow HR. So I have a badass attorney, I have an employer attorney. I did get dinged, somebody trying to sue me when I first started, like when I first opened my small little office, and this guy sued me for everything. And like everything in the book. And it was great. It was such a great experience. So guys, again, if you want to start a business, you will deal with lawsuits. It just happens, whatever, get over it. But he sued me for everything. It was the best thing that could have happened. Do you know why? Because he sued me for everything, I was able to go back to my employee handbooks and also back to my team and realize what can somebody sue you for as an owner of a company. Oh, it was fantastic. Fortunately, he lost. I had to pay him. I just paid just a little bit of money just to F off. And but it was great because I went through depositions, all that. And I was like, I remember going through these depots and going, shit, I didn't think about that. And I write down all these notes and took it back to my office. And now what happens when I let somebody go, we make sure we have everything in writing. I do one-on-ones with everybody constantly. So we do that. And that just, the one-on-ones are obviously to grow people, but also keeps things HR driven as well, in case. And if I do have to give somebody feedback in a more of a negative light, I do put it in writing. And then we'll talk about certain things like that. But yeah, don't be afraid to put things in writing or write somebody up, because guess what? If they do come after you, you have a bunch of reasons why you had to write them up. So
Probably the best tip of the pod.
Nobody talks about that, right?
Nobody talks about that aspect of it. And it's especially in California, you just deal with, I met with a guy who sold his company for 50 million on Saturday.
Oh,
One of his
nice.
biggest reasons he was excited for selling, he's like, bro, the employee issues that I had to deal with at that size got to just be overwhelming.
I think about that. I just asked my wife that. I was like, man, how do people deal with this with 100 people? It's crazy.
When we ran Call Magicians, we had 150 people virtually.
Nice.
It was terrible. It was like we had HR problems every single day, and that's not even in the state of California. Like we had an HR department just to handle all the nonsense. It was crazy.
I love that.
Dino, you have any more questions, bro? We can't hear you, Dean.
Oops. I was going to say, honestly, I could talk to Aaron all day. I've got a lot more questions, but for the sake of the pod and timing, we probably got to let him go. But yeah, no, I look forward to continue talking to you. I'm a Collective Genius. We joined this year as well. So
nice.
I'll see you there. We're in the same town. So I definitely want to get together with you and talk shop, dude.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I can't wait.
Bro, thank you so much for coming on. What are your final words for the people?
Yeah, your first deal is right around the corner. Your first a deal can change your life. I tell it to my guys all the time. We talked about earlier about large deals. There's a large deal right around the corner for you. Keep going, keep pushing.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We got a webinar with Dean, how he made $181,000 or $82,000
81, yeah.
tomorrow at noon. If you want that, send me and Dino a DM. We got you. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.